Now. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first AFTW meeting of 2025. My name is Bryan Baker. I'll be your host for this year, provided travel doesn't take me away during one of the meetings. For those of you who don't know me or don't remember me, I hosted the meetings for before last year. I took a bit of a hiatus while I got accustomed to a new role down here in Tucson, Arizona, as Director of Operations for North American Aerial Surveys, an aerial survey company. We've got a fleet of 4 planes, and we do aerial mapping all over the U.S. So, also a flight instructor, also a field rep for FAAsafety.gov. And so this meeting is being recorded. So as part of our housekeeping items, please don't carry on any side conversations in the chat. And also be respectful of others and keep basic decorum during the meeting, since this is being recorded and will never ever be off the internet, probably ever. So there is wings credit for this if you have signed up through the spans and the wings. And also, I will be sending a report to Craig as far as who actually attended the meeting. So make sure that if your email address that you got onto this is not the same as your wings account, that you put your uh, email address that you use for your Wings account in the chat, so we can make sure that we get you appropriately credited for attending this meeting. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and start our welcome of new attendees. I see 17 participants, including myself right at the moment. Are there any first-time attendees on the meeting? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know if there are.
Hi, my name's Jacqueline. I'm a first-time attendee.
Welcome, Jacqueline. Where do you hail from?
I live in Tempe, but I am a CFI out of Falcon Field.
Okay, terrific. And how'd you find out about the group here?
Um, one of the DPs that sometimes does check rides out of our campus for helicopters kind of told me that I should check it out.
Well, great. Welcome. We appreciate you joining us, and we hope that you find the group and the information useful. And you can always go back and check our previous meeting recordings on the AFTW website if you want to catch up a little bit on some of the things that are going on. But appreciate you joining us. So welcome. Any other first-time attendees?
Yeah, Frank Forsetto out of Eloy, Skydive, Arizona, Director of Flight Operations, and we operate out of Sawtooth as well.
Hi, Frank. How you doing? Are you a jump pilot there?
Yep. So Chief Pilot, Director of Flight Operations here. Been here for about 7 years and just finally got around to getting onto the CFI thing. Not a CFI currently, but working on it.
Well, you don't have to be a CFI to attend the meetings. So, if you are sharing information about this group and these meetings, please let people know that you don't have to be a CFI to be on it. I wasn't a CFI yet when I first started attending, but I find that the information is useful regardless of whether you're a CFI or not. Just the fact that you're flying around Arizona is reason enough to be on these meetings. So welcome, Frank, to you and Jacqueline. Any other first-time members? Going once?
Hey everybody. My name's Cody Oswalt. I'm the chief instructor for AeroGuard Flight School.
Hey, Cody, welcome. How long have you been with AeroGuard there?
It's only been about 6 months now.
Okay. Well, terrific. Appreciate you joining us. Welcome. There's always a lot of stuff going on there at Deer Valley to keep up with. So this is an open forum, and we'll appreciate any input from any of the attendees on anything regarding the subject matters as we go through them. So, any other attendees, first-time attendees? So far, we've got Jacqueline, Frank, and Cody.
And then Justin, I'm here as well. I just still have the camera on.
Okay, Justin, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
We're doing great. And where are you from?
Me, I'm from out at Falcon Field. I'm currently a captain with SkyWest Airlines. I've got my own airplane and my own business.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for joining us, Justin.
Oh, you're welcome.
So that's four new attendees. Do I get five? Do I hear five? Four going five. I'm not an auctioneer, which is a good thing. Won't give up my day job. Okay, last call. All right, so we'll go ahead and move along with the agenda. So one of the things that we want to make sure everyone is aware of is the fact that we have our Facebook group, the AFTW, AZ TW, AFTW Facebook page, and that allows us to get information out between meetings, since these are only every other month. Anything that needs to be disseminated or talked about or discussed, you can usually find more immediate information on our Facebook page. So make sure you check that out, that you follow it. I don't remember how many people we're up to yet on Facebook, but it's over 500. I think close to 600 now on the Facebook group. I didn't put it up as a tab on my browser, so I'm not going to try and bring it up. I need to remember to do that next time. But make sure you follow us there, and you can also message us through that as well if you have anything that you want in an upcoming meeting. Of course, our website that we have, the Arizona Flight Training Workgroup webpage, which is here. Are you guys seeing that on your screen when I switch pages?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't sharing just a particular tab, so that when I change pages, everything works. So the AFTW Flight Training Work Group webpage has a cornucopia of useful information, including our latest AFTW overlay for your electronic flight book for either Garmin Pilot or ForeFlight. That is from November of 2024. So it is the latest and greatest, and it covers the Phoenix, Tucson, and Prescott areas, all of them at the same time in one overlay. It's easier to keep one overlay updated than it is to break it up into multiple overlays. Back when we had a little bit less information on the overlay, we had them broken up into the individual Phoenix practice areas and Prescott practice area. But now it's just all one big happy overlay. I did go ahead and personally break out the Tucson area out of my overlay just because I wanted it to be separate for when I'm flying around here. But it is one big overlay, and so you can get that. There's a video on how to install it into your ForeFlight or Garmin Pilot if you're not familiar with how to do that. So please check that out. Also on here, we have the Stansfield Stack VOR procedures, East Valley airspace hazards, practice instrument approach procedures, and so a number of other things. One of the other things that's in here is the safety topic of the month. And this is the FAA Fast Team topic of the month that we host here. We post them, so it makes it a little bit easier to find the information. I just started looking at the safety culture topic of the month, and there's some really great human factors information that's being distributed as part of that, and safety management system information, which is very timely considering last week my company just went through a very extensive ISBOW safety audit, and so that we could be ISBOW certified for some of our clients. And it was a 2-day audit. very exhausted. We spent probably about 6 weeks getting prepared for it because it was our first one, and we passed, fortunately. So that was good. But anyway, safety culture is a good topic for this topic of the month. So that's the AFTW website. I'm not going to spend any other time on that. We'll go back to the agenda. And the first big item on the agenda is upcoming events. So if you've been in Arizona for more than about 30 seconds, you know that January, February, March is a big time for events in the Valley and wider Arizona area. And so we've got a number of them listed here. Jim is doing his OCD thing and putting them in chronological order. So that's great. I didn't do that. I'm not quite that OCD enough to put them in chronological order, but we have
I'm here for you,
coming
man.
up. Huh?
I'm here for you, man.
I know you are. I know you are. So starting this weekend, we've got the Casa Grande Formation Clinic. So there's a bulletin that went out on that. I can't remember where I saw it. But anyway, there's going to be a lot of formation flying out of Casa Grande this weekend. So if you can avoid that airspace, I suggest it's probably a good idea to stay out of it because they're going to be doing a lot of overhead breaks coming into the pattern, and those guys are going to have priority over any of the instrument or practice instrument stuff coming in there. So it might be a little aggravating to try and compete with those guys. So I would just give them a wide berth for a couple of days here so that they've got the airspace to not be so conflicted. The Barrett Jackson
Bryan?
auto auction. Yes,
Real quick, can I chime in on that?
please.
I sometimes hear comments about pilots being frustrated because they feel like the flight schools think they own a certain area or airport or approach procedure, and are acting kind of possessive and whatever. Of course, the AFTW, we don't set regulations, we don't set policy. All we do is organize and communicate recommendations. And all of us on this call, we need to be sure, especially flight training providers, please re-communicate to all your flight instructors and pilots that the only official guidance is what the FAA gives us. And it is very clear in the non-airport, non-towered airport advisory circular that the aircraft in the traffic pattern at Casa Grande have priority over anybody on a straight in. And that's the official. And when we're doing those straight in approaches to runway 5 at Casa Grande, and we coordinate with people that are doing pattern work and they give way to the straight ins, they're being nice about that. They're being courteous to let the straight in practice approaches do that. So these guys, Ben York is a DP that's involved with this. He has a couple of those planes, and he's the one that got the notice out to us. Him and his friends and everyone doing this clinic, they have every right to use Casa Grande. And yes, it's a little frustrating for those of us that need to get instrument approaches done that weekend. But it's a public use airport. So let's all be courteous and not make any derogatory comments, especially on frequency. Keep your eyes open out there. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. And yeah, that was actually one of the airspace topics, or the only airspace topic that I had, was going to go over that a little bit more in detail. But I think you summed it up very nicely, so we'll won't have to deal with that in the upcoming section. Again, Barrett Jackson is also starts up here in a couple of days, so just be the typical traffic plus some in and out of Scottsdale, Deer Valley, Falcon. And then the big one is big event. February 1st is the 51st annual Arizona Safety Awards through ASAG, and I did bring that up as a tab. So I'm assuming, Carrie, that there's still tickets available for $65 each or $210 a table. if people want to attend that in a couple of weeks.
Tickets are always available right up till we'll take your money even after the event's over. So, yes. And we do give a discount if you buy a table of 10. So, where you find that is look under that little more. And I also have a link, buy tickets right here now for that. And we do have nominations for every one of our categories. So have to come to see who's going to win.
I'll actually be out of town, but I'm excited to hear who gets flight instructor and mechanic of the year and all those great awards. So I'm glad we got nominations for everybody. So that's great.
We have a great guest speaker, Rich Lee, who's our vice president of ASAG as well. But Rich is right now he's a expert witness on a lot of trials, but his former life, he was a test pilot for McDonnell Douglas helicopters and Boeing helicopters. And he's going to talk about being the halftime entertainment for Super Bowl 30 when it was down at ASU Stadium and flying Diana Ross out of, she was the halftime entertainment, but he came in on a helicopter and picked her up and flew her out. So this is how a diva leaves a show. So he'll talk about all the aeronautical decision making that went into that. And he's got a great video of the whole thing. You just talk about pressure, doing that in front of all the fans, but not only that, think of all the 50 million people watching around the world. And don't screw up.
Yeah, right. So Richard is diva adjacent, then is I think what we'd say. So that's awesome. Should be a great talk, a great event. And so if you guys are around, be a great evening of entertainment and awards and information. So
well, and let me also say the proceeds from this go to support AFTW's website. They also support the Zoom link that we're using on this call. So this is how we get our message out through the ASAG, and the awards banquet is our only way of earning the money that keeps all this operation running.
Yeah,
so
that's
please
a
support
terrific
us.
point. We don't get money any other way than those contributions to that dinner. So that's great. Okay, so that's February 1st. February 3rd through the 9th is the Waste Management Open out of Scottsdale. And this usually gets more traffic, airspace traffic than the Barrett-Jackson event. The Barrett-Jackson event lasts a little bit longer, but no, that's not true. They're about the same length. But the Waste Management Open is a little bit more high profile, and so there's going to be a lot more traffic coming in for that usually than the Barrett-Jackson. Event I am going to be able to go to on February 14th through the 16th is the Buckeye Airfare and AOPA Fly-In. And I think I had a tab open for that. That is here. It's going to be at Buckeye. And I'm actually flying up from Tucson for it. I'll be bringing one of our company planes. I did, fortunately, last week got a hotel room. There weren't many available. So if you're coming from out of the area, you may want to make your accommodations sooner rather than later. The $125 a night hotel fee jumped up for that weekend to about $250 a night at in Buckeye there at the Home 2 Suites or Home, I don't know, whatever one of the hotels is, but they all doubled their rates just for that weekend. So that was nice of them. But if you've never been to an AOPA fly-in, they're a great event. There's lots of information. There's going to be vendors there. The new AOPA president will be there. For those of you that don't know, Mark Baker resigned at the end of the year, and his new replacement, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he'll be there giving a talk about what's going on and the future here in the short and long term at AOPA. So there'll be an air show every day. The airspace will be closed for the air show. So even if you're not going to the AOPA fly-in, check your NOTAMs so that you don't get sideways with a TFR out in that area where you don't usually have TFRs. But both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday midday, there will be air shows going on. It is free to attend. All you have to do is pay for parking. So that's kind of a cool thing. Doesn't cost much. And then whatever food you want to get. So that'll be a big weekend. I don't know how many people they're expecting to fly in for that, but I'm sure there'll be more than a handful.
So Bryan, is your company doing something on display, or you're just going to attend?
No, we're just taking the company plane up. I've got 3 employees that want to go, so we're all just gonna use the company plane to roll up there.
Nice.
And not. I mean, it's kind of a cool plane, so who knows? Maybe they'll put it on the flight line on display, and we'll open it up and show people what a $1.5 million camera and lidar sensor look like if they're interested in taking a look inside the plane. But it's basically a an SUV with a big camera in it on wings.
Very good.
So, um,
And Carrie had something.
sorry. Go ahead, Carrie.
We will have, they generously gave us 1 whole hour to do one seminar out of the 3 days. So on Friday afternoon, probably before the practice air show starts, I will be giving a seminar for Wings Credit on the parachute jump activities that we've got going on in our practice areas.
Okay. Terrific. I haven't seen what the agenda is for other presentations, but that's good to know. I actually won't be going up until early Saturday morning, but so I won't be able to catch that particular presentation, but that's great. Okay. February 20th is the Chandler RSAT meeting. So this is the annual controller tower operations meeting at Chandler. And if you are based at Chandler or do a lot of work in and out of Chandler, I highly recommend that you go to that. William Banks is the controller that's organizing that. You simply have to email him your name, organization, if applicable, phone number, email address, and the number of people that will be attending the event. I don't remember what time it is. It's in the evening, late afternoon, evening. But if you email Mr. Bankos, he can get you the additional information. Okay, so that's everything that's going to happen. Well, and then we've got March 8th, the Cactus fly-in. So it's going to be at Casa Grande, and that's always a good event. Lots of fun there. A little bit less of a huge event than the AOPA fly-in, but lots of fun, lots of good food and networking there at the Cactus fly-in. Usually, did we? I can't remember. We had a booth at or a table, I think, AFTW at one of the fly-ins a couple of years ago. I don't remember which exactly one it was. Okay, any other events that anyone knows about, can think of, that need to get communicated out?
Yep, Bryan, this is Carrie. 1 March, we have a seminar down at Marana. Lee Unger has got a SPANS working for that, and we're going to talk about all the Marana operations, the parachute jump operations down there, and all the other things that are going on at Marana. So that's the 1st of March. I believe it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And then for the cactus fly-in, we got a request from the organizers of the event if we could limit flight school training during the event like they are for the formation clinic. So I know what Jim just said about the airspace there belongs to everybody, but they were just asking if we could scale it back a little bit for that day.
Yeah, and for those of you that need ILS work and RNAV work, just fly a little bit further. Come down here to Ryan. Our tower down here is really good about getting in practice ILS approaches and RNAV approaches. So and get you a little bit more flight time at the same time. So when you reach out to Tucson Approach, if you tell them your intentions, they will usually set you up without any issues. So just an alternative for you guys that are needing to shoot approaches. Thanks, Carrie. Anybody else? Any other events between now and March?
I've got a couple. Hey, Carrie, wasn't there a hot air balloon thing going out like right around the same time as the Buckeye Airfair?
Mm,
I thought I remember that
I'm
from one
not-
of the meetings.
I'm not aware of it, but I can text Neil Davison real quick and find out.
Yeah, I want to say they were doing something over at Glendale.
Okay. Well, usually sometimes there's that Thunderbird, what used to be a Thunderbird balloon glow at Goodyear. So
Maybe
let
that's
me-
what it was. And the other
maybe
one
I'll-
was the Arabian Horse Show, which doesn't sound like it would be a big impact, but it's quite an impact for us. So February 13th through the 23rd, see a lot of private jets, especially those carrying horses. They can't do rapid maneuvering. That's February 13th through the 23rd.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've owned horses. I can't even imagine how expensive it is to put your horse on a horse transport to fly it in.
They're from all around the world. It's crazy, and they do not like TCAS RAs.
I bet. I bet. They probably have a hard time if a horse pulls 0G back there. Okay, thanks, Matt. Any others? Okay. All right. I already hit the AFTW website updates with the overlay and the topic of the month items that we have on there. Any other website updates for Carrie or Jim or anybody else? Okay.
Brian, I just remembered the POG is this Thursday. And I think there's usually somebody from AFTW that attends the POG.
Okay.
Do you have a link you want me to include for that? If you can,
I'll send it to you,
is
Jim.
it a spans? Yeah, if you don't mind just dropping it in the chat, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a spans. I think it's an invite directly from P50.
Gotcha.
Okay. Just a second. All right.
Why do you suppose P50 would not put something like that in spans? Carrie?
You know, Matt, are you involved with the scheduling of that, Matt?
No, I was just invited. I don't know how they do the scheduling or the publishing of it. It used to be fully open to everybody. I don't know why it's changed.
So
Yeah,
maybe we shouldn't put it in our minutes. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So for airports, I don't have anything for specific airports. So what I usually do is open this up. But one thing I wanted to hit on again, because it's getting quite a bit of chatter out in the GA world, is the plane pass landing fees. We touched on it last meeting, and since then, there was a Facebook group that I saw that was kind of dedicated to tracking that. The The owner of that Facebook page has since changed the name of it. I think he was getting overwhelmed with responses and complaints and things of that nature. So it got changed, but there is a Facebook group that is kind of tracking plane pass landing fees. And for those of you that are not familiar, that is right here. Oh, come on. It's right under my control bar, so it doesn't let me go to it. Let's see. Okay. That one. There we go. Okay. So Plane Pass by Vector Systems. It is a company that is marketing their services to communities, counties, cities, to allow them to collect landing fees, flyover fees, airspace use fees from the any airplane that happens to get entangled in their web system there. It uses both ADS-B for tracking the plane, and it also has cameras in most airports where they actually have cameras down on the runways, so they're capturing your IN number as well as your ADS-B data. And then what they'll do is they will send a bill for whatever the fee is to the registered owner of the aircraft. And in the case of Bullhead, so this is currently in effect at Bullhead, it's based on the gross weight of the airplane, the gross landing weight of the airplane. So I got a bill for $50 for landing there in one of our commanders a couple of months ago or earlier this summer. So the bills again are going to go to whoever the registered owner of the aircraft is. And so there's a lot of discussion on the nature of these fees, in some cases, the legality of these fees, but they are being instituted around the country. I also got an invoice from Corpus Christi, and I got an invoice from, I can't remember the airport in Idaho. So there's a number of them. I heard that Safford was looking at doing this, but I don't know if they have or not. Anybody familiar with any other airports in Arizona that have adopted the Plane Pass system?
Yeah, Brian, we've discussed this quite a bit at the ASAG meeting, and I'm sure it'll be on tomorrow's ASAG meeting as well. One of the reasons why the airports have adopted to going through this goes back to their airport managers are looking at ways to supplement the revenue stream that they have coming in, because the state legislature comes through and commits what they call a sweep of the funds that are in the State Aviation Trust Fund. So Chris Nugent, the president of the Arizona Pilots Association, and myself have met with Senator Farnsworth, who's on the Transportation Committee at the state legislature. And we're putting together a working group on trying to prevent the sweeping of the funds for the first step. And the second step is to try and prohibit the use of ADS-B for exactly the type of activity that you're raising here. And AOPA is involved at a national level with using these fees. And unfortunately, it's becoming more and more common around the country as airports use this use of fees to either supplement their income, or in some cases like Cottonwood was talking about, using it as a way of restricting access into their airport. And that has since been shelved. But the only other airport I know of that you mentioned is Safford. The airport manager there is using it, And he says if you go in and you buy $1 worth of gas, they will not charge you the landing fees. But one of the reasons they were doing it was to actually try and limit the amount of activity they've got at the airport from some of the big flight schools. So
So again, it's an effort to limit the activity as well as generate revenue from the activity.
and the large flight schools that are using it have their fuel contracts somewhere else, so they're not going to land and get any fuel, so they go elsewhere. So as far as Safford's concerned, it's a win. Well, and of course we don't like seeing that because I think from a training point of view, it's forcing training to go elsewhere and causing a lot of congestion where we don't need it. So from a safety standpoint, and this is what I told Senator Farnsworth, this is not a good idea.
Not only that, but they are not transparent about not only their fees, but what airports they're at. So if you look on ForeFlight under Bullhead, you'll see that there's under comments, I believe it is, there's landing fee, but it doesn't say how much it is. You have really no way of finding out. And on Vector, they don't list the airports that they have as clients. So they're trying to obfuscate the transparency so that we can make an informed decision about which airports we want to go to, and if we're willing to pay whatever the landing fee is that that they're charging. So they're not being upfront about it, neither at the the service level here at Vector, nor at the city level. You have to go on to Bullhead's Airport City site to actually figure out about what the landing fee could be. And again, it's going to be based on your max landing weight in Bullhead. I don't know if this that way at every airport. Maybe they just have a straight fee per aircraft, regardless of whether it's a single or a twin or a BizJet or whatever. I don't know, because again, there's very little transparency in this. So, or no transparency in it. So anyway, just so you're aware, and if you guys run across any other airports that have that have adopted this system, drop us a line, let us know. And we can then make informed decisions as pilots about whether or not we want to, go to that airport. Because the problem is, if you don't look in the little comments, and then all of a sudden 4 months later you get a bill for $50 that you had no idea you're going to be getting, it's just a little rude in my opinion. So. Okay, so with that, I was going to move to any activities that are going on at other airports, construction related things, closures, anything like that. So open it up to the group. Anybody got any airport stuff going on at their local airport?
Yeah, Brian, let me start again. Goodyear is an airport that we are very concerned about. The air traffic manager resigned the day after Thanksgiving. If folks are not aware, the contract for all the contract towers in this around the country was rebid, and Serco lost the contract effective 1 February. It's going to be a new company called Midwest Air. And at Goodyear, with the loss of the ATM and resignation of another controller, they are down to 3 controllers and a half because they've got one in training. So we are asking, if you don't need to go to Goodyear, please don't, particularly with United Aviate there. And the meeting involved Fly Goodyear and United Aviate, and just trying to limit their use of pattern activity, because at 3 controllers, they cannot be running a consistently safe operation. So they just don't have the manpower to keep it manned. And so you're going to see reduced hours of operation. And if one of them comes down with COVID or something like that, they could go ATC 0. So, and Goodyear has had over 235,000 operations, which is a lot for a single runway airport. So,
Oh. Do you know any other airports that's affecting? Is it affecting Chandler or Glendale?
well, it will. Gateway's the Circle Tower, Flagstaff, Chandler, Bryan is Circle as well. So, but they weren't down to the manning levels that Goodyear was at. So, yeah, we will see some changes coming in. And in some cases, I actually heard that Midwest bid with an increase in manning, so that will improve the situation. But for about the next middle of March or maybe end of March, this is going to be a situation at Goodyear.
Okay. Thanks, Carrie. Anybody else? Anything going on at Deer Valley, Scottsdale, Falcon, Mesa Gateway that we need to be aware of in the coming weeks?
I heard something on the Deer Valley ATIS. I wasn't really operating there on the surface, but new taxiway names. Do you know about that? Anybody here?
Yeah, so oh,
Go ahead.
Yeah, Deer Valley made some new taxiways, just changed Charlie and Delta, and so they had to renumber. But it's done now. There's still NOTAMs for the changes until the chart gets updated, but
Did they extend the Delta, or did they get the police hangar moved there yet?
No, the police hangar will not be moving
Okay.
because Ed Farron had the funds to move the police hangar, and then inflation came in and ate it all up. So at this time, there's no plans to move the police hangar. So taxiway Delta will end up there by the Romeo 6 ramp area. And these new taxiway, what's happened is there's actually a Delta on the other side of the police hangar, and this is to allow access for the corporate hangars that have been built in the southeast corner. But when I was there this week, they were barricaded off, so they're not open yet.
Okay. So we've got a police blockade on Delta. All right. Okay. Scottsdale, Falcon, Mesa, Chandler, anybody? Okay. Move along. Jim already touched on extensively the congestion at Casa Grande and Coolidge, so I'm not going to revisit that. If you want to revisit it, then when the recording comes out, you can listen to the first 5 minutes of that. But everyone be aware of the traffic volume that and the both the dual use with the instrument practice students and the VFR traffic in the pattern that has right of way. So,
Bryan, can I jump in just a minute?
yes,
that was my post in most part. The stack is cluttering the common frequency to the point that you cannot even report downwind base and final at Casa Grande. So the reporting from 8,000 feet down as they're leaving the stack and cluttering the frequency up completely. And at Coolidge, we're doing the VOR 5 and we're doing the RNAV 2-3 at the same time with heads in the cockpit, looking at in numbers, not looking outside. I'm to the point where I'm afraid to fly there.
Can I jump in there?
Please.
I hear you, Carter. It's tough for everyone. And I mean, this is how the AFTW got started back in 2002, was this project at the stack, because we were all so concerned about the safety. So that was our first project, is trying to make the procedures that we have today. So I I do want to push back a little bit. Your concerns are valid. I do take issue with your assumption that instructors are not looking outside. Of course, you don't know what they're doing or not doing. Um, are there some instructors that are better at scanning for traffic? Of course. But I don't think it's appropriate for you to accuse all of us of not looking outside. And I agree that when the stack is up to 8,000 feet, um, those calls do occupy a lot of the radio time. But I'm going to push back to you a little bit also on saying that it clutters it. Because when you say it clutters the frequency, that makes it sound like the work we're doing there in the stack is not important and that it's just garbage. No, it's not clutter. It's pilots doing things they need to do. So does it occupy the frequency? Absolutely. But I think we need to remember that everyone has a right to be there. And if you've got a suggestion how to make it better, we're open to hear it.
Well, for starters, have a different frequency for the stack, because when they're reporting, they have blocked any downwind reporting, any base reporting, or anything else. And the other day when I was trying to go to Goshawk, there was somebody that was on an IFR approach that felt that they had priority and were just going to blow right through the stack, and they make that announcement. You're going to have a mid-air. It is just the amount of congestion on the radio, plus when your instructors are calling out end numbers and asking where you're going and what you're doing, it leads me to believe we're not looking outside as much as we probably should. No, I don't know where they're looking. I just know my frequency at Coolidge and Casa Grande has been at best scary.
I want to be careful. Well, I'll just ask Carrie and Lee, how long roughly does it take to get a new frequency that we could use? How many years have we been working on that?
It's been almost since 2010.
And
So 15 years, and we still don't have the other frequencies we want for the practice areas. So unfortunately, Carter, that's not as easy as it might sound. But yeah,
Well,
I don't know. Anyone else have any suggestions?
Wouldn't it also be problematic if they're on different frequencies that the stack people don't know what's going on in the traffic pattern? So, I mean, if they're obligated to give way to traffic in the traffic pattern, you want them on that frequency, would be my thought to begin with. But I can understand the people in traffic pattern not really giving a crap about what's going on in the stack. So, I'm not sure if there's a good way to resolve this other than to see if the people that are operating in the stack can be a little bit more succinct or a little bit more aware of what's going on there. But that's my only thought on it at the moment.
Keeping ears open would be good. I've noticed recently there's been, it seems like, an increase in people not answering when top of stack is requested. So then they have to make multiple calls, and and then someone takes top of stack when it's really not top of stack, and we're having to revamp. So please, everyone, keep your ears open. I know it's tough for instructors and DPs. We got a lot going on in the flight deck with what we're doing. But as Carter said, we got to keep our eyes outside. Can't just count on ADSB. Got to keep our ears open. So it's tough. I avoid the stack anytime I can. It's tough when we have to go down there to get the things done that we got to do.
Is there no training going on is there no training going on at Gateway? Isn't that an alternative?
Oh, there's plenty going on at Gateway. We got anyone here based at Gateway? I think there's 13 flight schools at Falcon Field now.
There's
most
14.
of them are conducting instrument approaches. Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, there's 14 of them here at Falcon. I was just out there today. The last time I tried to go into Gateway, they basically told us to not bother them on approach, and they're not accepting practice approaches because they're so busy with everybody that's already there.
I avoid Gateway as well. I don't think I've been to Gateway in 2 or 3 years. Just it's been crazy ever since then.
They have been low staffed.
Matt,
Yeah,
did you have something?
that shortened runway, 12 right, 30 left is shortened. So all of the allegiants are going to the center, which pretty much takes away your option for the localizer and ILS. And they've been favoring runway 1-2, and we can't run 1-2 approaches. That shuts down Falcon Field and our Sky Harbor departures. So unfortunately, Gateway's been out. If they're on 30s though, hit us up. We always give those approaches out when they're on 30s. It's just seldom.
Okay. Well, thanks for bringing up the subject, Carter. I saw that post, which is why I brought it up here, and I anonymized it just for not knowing what the individual's preference was for discussing it. So I appreciate your input on it, and I think just making sure if you're a CFI or work at a flight school that we reiterate being good neighbors to the VFR traffic there at Coolidge and Casa Grande, and try to be as synchronized with the VFR operations going in there as much as possible. Okay,
Can I chime in real quick about some airspace stuff?
Sure, Frank.
So just, we obviously got a pretty extensive operations at Eloy and Sawtooth, and we have a remote location 8 miles east of Eloy as well. So what we're seeing here is just people not coming up on the common air frequency and at least transmitting their transient through, which has been a problem. Even yesterday, I had somebody fly through a stack of canopies. That can be super unsafe. I think the biggest thing for us, we monitor that frequency. So as long as somebody gives us a heads up, or asks if we're operating or if there's people in the sky, it takes us 15, 20 minutes to get to altitude. So sometimes there'll be a break without people there, but just having the courtesy to reach out to us so we're not having to look for somebody. We're already monitoring Albuquerque at all times as well. So we're pretty busy up there. But then the last thing I want to see is somebody running into a skydiver. So, and we're always open to answer questions if people have any. But we're definitely getting into the busy season on our end. So,
well, as someone who personally transits Tucson to Phoenix several times a week, I can recommend what we do is we stay either fairly far west of the lineup airports, Marana, Pinal, Eloy, the Stack. We stay fairly far west of that whole corridor, or we stay fairly far east of it. That, and we also pick up flight following as much as possible, so that we hear on Albuquerque Center, when jumpers are away and where they're jumping. So if you are transiting from Phoenix to Tucson on a regular basis, those are just some of the practices that I use to stay out of the way and stay deconflicted with all the jump operations that are happening up that I-10 corridor. It seems like about every airport and then some are having jump operations. So that's my recommendation on that. And so far it's kept us from being too much of a bother. But if you're just bombing down the 10 without listening to anybody or talking to anybody, you're going to be a problem at most of the jump schools. So not recommended to go radio silent between Tucson and Phoenix.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Hey, Frank,
Real quick on that topic of jump operations, Lee did post earlier in the chat for everyone on the live meeting something that we posted on, I think it's on our AFTW page too, isn't it, Lee, about the jump operation stuff, the 15 points?
I'd have to double check, but thank you for doing that.
I think it's on the Facebook page, not the
Oh,
home page.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did put it
If
on.
not, Leo, make sure we put it there if it's not there already.
I did put it on Facebook. I thought you were talking about
Wonderful.
the site too. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. The Facebook page. I misspoke. So thank you. Sorry, Carrie, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Frank, did you have somebody that was working on ADSB for your jumpers?
There has been a couple people looking for it. That's more on the military side. But there was somebody that was doing some testing out here a few months ago. Haven't really heard more about them. I think that'll probably be more along the military training. But we do a lot of civilian operations, and so you won't see ADSB on every single. We 23 jumpers at one time. You won't be able to see that. I think that's more along the lines of the military guys doing hay hose or offset drops and things like that. But it's definitely something that they're working on.
Yeah, and your big 23 jump, those are going to be primarily restricted to Eloy. Your other operations at Sawtooth and off to the east are your military operations.
We operate Skyvans out of Eloy as well. Our civilian is sunrise to sunset, and we can do some night stuff as well. But we can have some offset stuff. And I think the biggest part is just getting on Albuquerque and knowing where the jumpers are going to be. For the most part, they just go straight down over the top. But I usually tell everybody a 3 to 5 mile radius is a good barrier.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'll be talking about this. Is exactly what we're going to be talking about at the Buckeye Airfair. So,
okay, I might be out there with one of the air bosses. So if I find you guys, I'll come say hello.
All right.
Well, all right.
Hey, Brian. Matt dropped an interesting image in the chat. Matt, is it okay to share that publicly and put it in the minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I put it for everybody to see. I just wanted.
And is green a discrete code and blue is 1200?
Yeah, blue's 1200. Green is actually IFR arrival. And I think we have 2 others. Orange and red are going to be IFR departures. Yeah, the red and orange are IFR departures. Really, the emphasis is the blue. And if you look at where Falcon's pattern is, and between Falcon and Chandler, it's just a solid core of traffic. There was almost 3,000 operations that we were working that day between Falcon and Chandler. Right under the Bravo, we have northbound at 3,000, 35 and 32, southbound at 37, I think some of them go at. So you have 3, 32, 35, 37, and our Sky Harbor arrivals drop down to 4 right there. It is a hot spot right there for us. So just be cognizant between Chandler and Falcon, please.
All right. Did I label that right? You said 24 hours and that's all Falcon traffic, right? Interesting. Thank you.
That's cool. That's make a neat artwork for your wall.
I know, right?
Frame it.
Okay. All right.
If I may just jump in real quick, there's another video that I have. I can't post that one, but if you wanted to see it, I don't know how much time you guys have in this meeting left. It's just a few minutes. It's about the practice area on Victor 105. I think I showed it in ASAG. I don't think I've shown it in AFTW though. It's up to anybody. If anybody wants to see it, just let me know.
Yeah, I think we got time, Brian. If you think you got to stop sharing so he can share.
Okay.
Those videos are highly educational.
And if you've seen it, let me know and I can stop sharing.
No, it's okay. Well, this is being recorded too, so a lot of people come back and watch this later.
All right, I'll explain what we're looking at here. Can you see the radar screen?
Yes.
Can you see my mouse?
Yep.
All right, so you're looking at our radar screen. 1200 is obviously VFR. Bottom left is the altitude, so 5,100, and this is the speed, 80 knots. I redacted all of the ADSB info, so I'm not going to target anybody. But I did leave up Aviator 75 there, IFR. Victor 105 at the top of the screen goes from Phoenix VOR, and at the bottom of the screen is Stanfield. And what we're going to see over here is the southwest practice area. Over here is the southeast practice area. And when I hit play, we're just going to watch this 1200 code and see what they do. So Normally on Victor 105, you're southbound at 6,000, but he's opposite direction and he's climbing. So we climbed Aviator early, and then we turned Aviator out of the way, turned him to the left. This one continues like a 360-degree turn, which is totally fine. Turned Aviator again. And this is where it gets really weird. We have one here at 4,400, one here at 45, another one here at 45. And you can see this one is doing a steep spiral, and everybody's kind of scattering out of their way. You're in class echo in the practice area, totally legal, totally acceptable. It's just ill-advised to be on a Victor airway with traffic all around you doing steep spirals and maneuvers like this. There's a whole bunch of empty area east of the jump zones, north of Akchin, or if you go to the east in the southeast practice area, southeast practice area, a lot of open sky. But being on this Victor airway, there's a lot of traffic right through here. So we're just asking pilots just to be on the lookout, use a little bit of caution.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
It's pretty scary watching it from the radar standpoint when we can't talk to anybody. We just see steep spirals.
I have so much respect for you guys, Matt. Like looking at that, it's like reading the Matrix. You guys are amazing how you could just, look at those things and know what's going on. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to move into, we have some projects that we still need help with. Recommended procedures for practice instrument approaches in the Phoenix and Tucson area. Alex Donna has been helping with that. Appreciate that greatly. I don't know how much more work there is to do on this. I guess it's just an ongoing project. Right, Jim? It just needs constant
There's a lot
attention.
that still needs to be done. Yeah, you guys can click on that link. Anyone that clicks on that link can view the document. People have to, of course, receive permission to edit it. So you guys can go see. There's a lot of airports that are blank, and we really want to get that fleshed out and get input from people. Things have changed. The new ACS, we can reorganize a lot of things. The new instrument ACS, as far as combining approaches for valley rallies and still meeting requirements for a IPC or a check ride scenario. So anyone who's got experience and would like to help with that, just send me an email. It's right there.
Great, thanks. This, I guess we're making a push, having an initiative to get more flight school representation at these meetings. So by my count, there should be at least about 50 representatives on this meeting just from flight schools in the area. If we've got 17 of them at Falcon, plus all the others. So if you are associated with a flight school or know someone who is at a flight school, please recommend that they join on these meetings. If they can't join, then at least to let us know that they're out there and watch the recording when they have time available. So the more flight school representation that we can get at these meetings, the better coordinated we will be throughout the airspace, including not doing steep spirals on Victor Airways, not congesting the CTAF frequencies with stack ops, all kinds of things, avoiding jump operations, all that sort of stuff. So again, if you know anyone representing a flight school, please suggest that they at least check in and view what we've got to offer here so that we can all work together and make the airspace safer and more cooperative.
Bryan, if you don't mind clicking on that bit.ly link real quick, just pull it up on your screen.
This one, the initiative?
Yeah, if you could open that. So this document is the one we're trying to get filled up. And it can be edited by anyone. So please be careful. Read what I put in the yellow highlight there. If you accidentally delete something, undo. But we were hoping to have this a read-only document by now, but there's still so many blanks. Not only do we want to have the information of points of contact for all the applicable organizations and flight schools and everybody. But I just want to reemphasize what Bryan just said about being at the live meeting. So those of you who are watching this recording on YouTube later, thank you. We appreciate you watching the recording, and we know it's tough to be here at a certain time at the live meeting. And please find someone in your company that can be here at the live meeting. It really is important that you guys can be here to ask questions. We got people like Matt from Tracon, Carrie, and others from ASAG. So please try to, every meeting we should have at least one person from all of the flight schools. That's really the goal. And I know it'll never happen, but we got a lot of room to improve. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jim. All right.
Is there any sort of organized effort to reach out proactively to the people who you want to attend and get them to attend? Like, phone call, here's a spans notice. This is what we're doing.
Well,
I emailed
like
everyone on that list yesterday because I had 3.5 minutes of discretionary time at 4 o'clock in the morning. Other than that, I'm not volunteering any other discretionary time. So if you got any specific ideas, Bob, we'd love to have you help with that.
Organize a committee of volunteers who will take the time to
if
make
anyone
phone
wants to help
calls
with
and-
outreach, that'd be great. I love it. It's been a constant challenge of the AFTW since day one is getting the word out and getting people to meetings.
Yep. All right. Any other questions, comments before we close out the meeting? We're a little bit over, and we value everyone's time, but some good information here. So, anybody else? Bueller?
Is there a link to the Google Sheet to fill out the flight school information?
Just had a question. I didn't see the flight school that I'm at, which is CAU, California Aeronautical University, and we're at a Falcon.
So I am dropping the link in the chat right now. You guys can both click on that and add your own information, please. And thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
All right. I put in the chat the map that we've got requesting the no maneuver zone between Scottsdale and Carefree Sky Ranch to try and eliminate the traffic advisories, resolution advisories we've got with the corporate traffic coming in and out of Scottsdale and Deer Valley. So it seems to be working pretty well. I think Matt can attest to that better than I can, but I still see, particularly on weekends, there seems to be people that go out there and do their entire area work out there in that area. That's exactly what we're trying to avoid.
Most of the people at Deer Valley, head to the west, the northwest practice area. But anyone out of Scottsdale should be heading around the backside to out the back of Pinnacle Peak to the northeast practice area without flying over that residential area back there. So it's a ongoing. I mean, we could have some of these notices be just every standard notices that we talk about every single meeting, but it's good to mention it at least on occasion. So thanks, Carrie. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Just real quick, hold on and get back here. If you don't mind clicking on that last one, the please share this link, the brief. Just so we get it on the video, people can see what it looks like. It's just meant to be an easy link that can be texted or emailed. It has QR codes right on it, and so it can be hung on a wall at a flight school or other place. So let's please get this out. And if anyone has any suggestions for improvement, just the aftw.org website contact page is the best way to give feedback.
Great. Thanks, Jim. Our next meeting will be March 11th at 4 p.m. That's the second Tuesday in March. Same time, same station. You can register at AFTW. Hopefully we'll get the spans link fixed so that you can register there as well. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording.
Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Before you pull the plug, circling back to what we were talking about here a moment ago. Jim, you were looking for help in getting the word out. I was just looking at the FAST team directory of volunteers for the Scottsdale district, and I'm seeing a total of 81 names in there. And it would seem to me that first and foremost, we need to get those people involved, and seeing how they've already expressed an interest to become a volunteer in the interest of education and safety. Wouldn't be too far of a reach to ask them to help spread the word as well uh, to these flight schools, to whoever interested parties you want to get involved, and have it grow exponentially from there. Wouldn't that be a logical place to start?
I agree. Is Craig still on? Ernie?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What do you think would be an appropriate way to reach out to our FAST team members?
We mention every time that we get together with our FAST team members that they should be doing outreach at flight schools and the like. Some are more active than
As far as specifically helping the AFTW, get more people from each organization at our live meetings.
And you've been at the rep training meeting. We always talk about AFTW and what they do and when they meet and when they should get together. I can send a blind CC message out to all of them and ask them to participate more.
How about if you could do that and specifically say that the AFTW is looking for a few volunteers to help get flight school representatives to our meeting, something like that, like Bob recommended a subcommittee. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I could do that, but also realize that of those 81 people, probably half of them work at a flight school.
Good point.
Well, they should be here anyway.
So why aren't they here?
I believe most of them are. A lot of them have signed out.
Not today. We barely hit 20 participants today. We've had meetings with 40 or 50 in the past, but you guys can go click on the YouTube videos and I think everyone can see the views. Typically we'll get 32 to 38 views on a video and that's it.
I saw Mick on today.
We're maybe reaching 80 people.
I saw Mick on today and Eric is on and Tony Gilbert has just gotten back from a long TDY, so he'll be on more often. So yeah, most of them are on most of the time, but I will send them a reminder.
Lee, are all these FAST team reps on your email list for these announcements that you send out? And by the way, thank you for including me.
Oh, you're welcome. Which announcements are you referring to?
Like for today's meeting, for what we're doing on, I believe, tomorrow.
On the spans they are, Bob. So on the spans, everybody gets included in the spans. Mm-hmm. And then same with ASAG. ASAG generally has a higher, it used to be the opposite actually. ASAG had less people and AFTW had more. But yeah, we can send out a reminder. I don't know if maybe they had a brain fart or what, but generally Alex is on. Generally, like Bryan was on, Mick was on. Well, like I said, Eric's on. So most of them attend and are on. But I send them a reminder.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So with that, I am going to actually stop the recording now. And thank you all for attending and appreciate all of your efforts to help make the Arizona skies a safer place to fly for us. So fly safe out there and we'll see you at the next meeting. Thanks so much.
Yeah.